Hello everyone. Today I'm going to show you how I made these miniature butter churns. Just like my barrel tutorial, this is a great way to use up a lot of scrap of foam board. I traced some circles of graduating sizes onto foam board and I cut them out. I glued them together starting with the larger ones on the bottom. I made some tall and I made some shorter. Next, I covered them completely with masking tape. I feel like it makes them stronger and it makes the sides more uniform. Using some watered down glue, I paper machéed some Kleenex over them. I feel like that gives something for the hot glue to hold on to. I cut out circles for the top and bottom and glued them on. I used my X-Acto knife to scratch in some wood grain, but it was unnecessary for the top since I still have to glue the tops on. I took another strip of cardstock and I'm just putting some wood grain into this one before I cut out the sides of the butter churn. And now I'm cutting the strips out of that piece to form the sides of the butter churn. I didn't measure them, I just cut them out. I used a glue gun to glue them on. And I cut off any excess. They should look something like this now. I base coated them black. I made sure to fill in the cracks really good with the black paint. Now I'm painting them with Latte from Anita's, but you can choose whatever color you like. And then I glued on the rings. I think I should have glued the rings on first and then painted it with the Latte. So I just painted the rings with Latte before I started the next color. I painted mine black, but I've seen it done in a brown too, probably like a rust color. And then I painted it with a watered down light brown. I cut off a section of rope. I unraveled it and used small sections, and then I glued it to make it form one solid piece. I wanted it to look like a smaller scale of rope. Once dry, this is how it looks. On some of my butter churns, I used it instead of gluing the rings on. And you can glue it around more than one time if you'd like. I cut some circles that will become the tops of the butter churns. I drilled a hole and then used a skewer to make it bigger. I painted it to match the butter churn, and then I glued it on to the top. To make it easier to put the churn handle in, I drilled through the layers of foam board first, but make sure not to go to the bottom, through to the bottom. I cut the skewer to the height that I wanted, and then I used the backside of my steel ruler to push it in. And I'm using black and brown chalk pastel to dirty it up, but that's optional and it's up to you. I really like the way they turned out, especially the ones with the rope on them. I think they would be great in a dollhouse or even a diorama or room box. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.